Thank you for tuning in to the Music Lovers Podcast, where we explore all types of music,
reminiscing on the old jams and putting you on to what's new.
We are your hosts, Megan.
Ashley,
and Khallilah, and we want to know,
Do you speak music?
If you break a promise, we break it up. There's a couple things that I won't walk to the pocket, sweet things.
I cannot stand you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Do You Speak Music? Welcome back to season 2. We are here. We are your hosts, Megan, Ashley, and Khallilah. What's up, y'all? What's been going on? How y'all feeling?
Hey, y'all.
hey, it's been a long time, right?
Yes, it has.
I done had a baby, all kinds of
Right.
stuff.
You did.
We
I
got
moved.
new kids. We didn't have birthdays, all type of stuff since our
Yes,
last episode.
baby.
Yes.
We
Both
done
of
turned
y'all.
30.
Yup. Ashley 30.
Woo.
Khalilah's,
I'm still 30, not
And
quite
Barkley.
ready to accept 31.
Right.
Mm-mm.
She got a redo because last year she got a little gypped.
Right.
But welcome back, y'all. We are here. We took a little break to regroup, to get it together, to come up with some new stuff for y'all. So we're gonna kind of keep it the same with the beginning. For our first thing, we're gonna start with who you listening to, because we got 6 months really of who you listening to, but
Woo.
we can just give me like 3 people who've been in rotation for the past, let's say, 6 months.
Y'all want me to go first?
Sure, go
Yes,
ahead.
you can go.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay. I've been listening to Kenyon Dixon like nonstop. I got put on him kind of late. I think I might have mentioned him once in an episode back in the day or whatever. But like he has some new stuff come out since then, and I'm in love with him. I'll move on. I've also started listening to Georgia Smith's new album.
Okay.
I've heard about her. I think I may have had like 1 or 2 songs on the playlist. I've also been listening to Masigo's new album, Studying Abroad, just because it's like a real summer vibe. I need to stop using the word vibe, y'all. I'm tired of it. I honestly am, but I can't stop. Me and Megan talk about this all the time.
I know. It's one of the words it's so
worn
overused. Yeah.
out.
Yeah, it is.
Man. But yeah, so that's what I've been listening to. Masigo, Georgia Smith, and Kenyon Dixon. Check them out.
Okay. All right, KB, how about you?
Okay, so I have been listening to J. Cole's The Off Season. But because I have children, I have to listen to the edited version when I'm in the car. I've also been listening to The New Respects. I love their album Before the Sun Goes Down. And let's see, who else have I been listening
Wait,
to?
spell that.
Right. That's a band?
The New Respects, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will share. I will definitely share. Yeah, I'll share the link with you guys for sure. I think I know y'all, so I know you'll like them. Who else have I been listening to? Alex Isley.
Yes, my girl.
I have also been listening to Moonchild's Little Ghost album, but I've listened to the instrumental.
Oh, okay.
So I use the instrumental album to put I Need to Sleep. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm also listening to Kenyon Dixon. Who else am I listening to? I was listening to Maverick City.
We appreciate your support, by the way, Khallilah. Kenyon and I appreciate.
You know what? We about to miss you.
Did you hear me? Did you hear me say first I was listening to Alex Isley?
Right.
Okay. I don't know nothing about that. That ain't my business.
Listen.
You about to stir up some stuff.
Who else have I been listening to lately? I'm drawing a blank. Oh, I remember Megan telling me to listen to this girl, Lizzie McAlpine. And I downloaded the album, but I had never listened to it. I have, in mommy mode, I can get sidetracked at any moment. So I'm scrolling through like the recently added albums. And I'm like, let me take a listen. I'm just, driving. I'm on the expressway. And of course, Megan never misses. So I text her and I'm like, are you the person who told me to download this album?
It was.
It was you. So, I'll finish the album. I haven't finished it, but so far so good. I am in love with her voice. She reminds me of, are you guys familiar with Fatai? No?
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, actually, I'll send you, I love when she goes live. I think she used to sing on the worship team at Willow Creek here in Chicago. That's probably how I got introduced to her, but that's what I'm listening to. Megan, you putting us on something new today?
Maybe. Well,
no, she is.
I'm starting with Jasmine Sullivan has been in rotation every week, at least once a week.
Y'all better stop listening to her. Y'all better stop. Y'all gonna find yourselves drowning in sin.
It's certain artists that just will never leave the rotation.
I know.
Ever. So I listen to it like every day for a month, and then it's just been weekly. I play it at least once a week. I have been revisiting Brick Liam's both of his albums, the Essential LP and What's the Matter Brick, because it's just it's so good. That album is both of them.
I feel like it's mandatory at least once every other week.
I got it, and I just I went on the plane. That's just like my plane album, because the Essential LP is clouds everywhere. I just feel like it's only right. So I've been listening to him, Rolene. So I don't know if y'all know.
Tone for days.
I said y'all could send it to me.
Yes. So she has an EP called Damaged Goods. It's 5 songs, and she just that girl sings. She's amazing. So I've been playing that on repeat. And then back to Lizzie McAlpine. She has 3 songs that I listen to like all the time, but really the whole album. So it's a song called Where Do I Go? Let me just stop there just with this one song and just talk about why I love it so much.
That's the song I've heard. I haven't heard the album yet, but now I do. Now that Khallilah brought it up, I need to go listen to that. But that one song did it for me.
It's because I'm just
beautiful.
People who really want to listen, I'm just going to explain it to you. Just give you a little tidbit. Tone, writing, production. She goes from this acoustic like sound recording on your phone to this right into this studio like sound and right back into the acoustic. Oh my goodness, when I tell you, this is one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard in my life, and I'm not exaggerating. Go listen to it for yourself. Where Do I Go?
No,
McAlpine. Just start with that song, and shout out to my friend Chris, because he's the one who put me on. He be putting me on the music and stuff too. So,
I feel like we need to make sure that we provide screenshots. Like, when this episode is released, we'll make sure that on our social media channels that we provide you guys with the album covers, because
for sure
you definitely got to download.
Yeah. And so that's one, and I think Kenyon Dixon too, and then Mac Ayers, his last album, Magic 8 Ball. I think so that album got released the same week as Jasmine Sullivan's project, and it kind of got a little overlooked.
Lost in the sauce.
Yeah, it got lost in the sauce a little bit, but I went back, and his song Sunny in 62 was like the perfect like spring type summer vibe. Oh, I said the word. Spring or summer summer song, like driving down Lakeshore Drive.
It's giving you summer energy.
Yeah, all those words, all those
God.
people are probably gonna be like, oh, why did they hate that word? Sorry, I just do. But yeah, so those are the things I've been listening to just the past 6 months. There are other things, but those are the ones that kind of stick out in my brain and have been in rotation in my car for the past 6 months. So yeah, but we're gonna get into our episode. Khallilah, what we got for our episode for today?
So for today's episode, I had the privilege, the honor of interviewing one of my best friends, one of my really good friends, Aesha Dominguez, who has been in the music industry for quite some time. So it's always good to chat. And Aesha and I's friendship is so interesting. How we came together was through both of us having a love for music. So we met as counselors for a performing arts camp, a summer camp for kids who were interested in theater, music writing, dance. They had all kind of different classes. So we've been rocking and rolling ever since, but it's always good to, just chat with your friends, and you don't have to talk every day, but when you do, whether it's 5 times a year, less or more, it was definitely good to chat with Aesha, talk about what it's like to be a woman in the music industry. We actually recorded this during Women's History Month, but because June is also African American Music Month, I think that it's still fitting. So I hope that you guys love it. Hope that you enjoy listening. Of course, you can always comment, like, share, download, and I hope you guys enjoy. All right, so I have one of my closest friends, Aesha, with me. Just Ish, if you are looking on social media. We have been friends for a long time. Time has definitely flown by. I was probably 17, a senior in high school, I'm assuming. So I won't calculate the total years, but definitely definitely more than 10 years. So thank you, Aesha, for agreeing to sit with me for chatting. I love how your career has taken its path. And of course, for the Do You Speak Music podcast, we had to interview women who are thriving in their music careers, whether it's actually writing music, whether it's singing, producing, no matter the title. We definitely wanted to take the time this month to highlight women who are doing the thing, who are literally like trailblazing, especially women in Chicago. So
yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited. Very excited.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and just jump right in. Typically on an episode, we ask at the top of our episodes, what are you currently listening to? So whether it's somebody that we all know or somebody you're gonna put us on, I'm always happy to take on new music. So who are you currently listening to? Who's in rotation on your
This is always an interesting question because ironically, because I do work in music, I don't often get to like just dive into music all the time because I'm either listening to something I worked on or preparing for something like coming up. So I'm like, okay, I gotta listen to this certain type of music. But last week, I was listening to this artist. Her name is Ombre, and her project is called Pulp. I think it's a super dope body of work and everything like that. And it actually came out not too long ago, but it's been out for a minute, but I didn't have time, like I said, to dive into it, and I just did last week, and I really enjoyed it. So definitely her. Jasmine Sullivan just put out a great project. So definitely that in rotation.
That woman. Oh goodness.
No, yeah, Jasmine, she never disappoints. So
And
that's, you know what I'm saying? That's the only thing
let's
good
just
about her.
pause right there and say it was Aesha who put me on to Jasmine Sullivan. I want to
Okay,
say back
I'll
in,
take that.
listen, and
I'll take that.
that is how we became friends.
Yeah.
Okay, like
Yeah, no,
I want
Jasmine
to
has had an
say,
excellent
it
career.
was
Like
probably either it has probably like 2008. So
something like that, yeah.
yeah,
I know being down in school, I came across her first mixtape off of like, you know, back then it's like you get off LimeWire or something like that, and had it on my iPod, and I was loving that project.
yeah,
So
we don't even have iPods anymore. So yeah,
I know, but that's the vibes all the way from the beginning. Day ones.
yep, yep, for sure. Yeah, I mean, even other, since we're in the vein of talking about women, Aisha put me on to, oh goodness, so many people, but Shantae Can, PJ Morton. I feel like that summer of working together as summer camp counselors, obviously neither one of us are still working as summer camp counselors, but yeah, that was a summer of, for me, that was a summer of music. So
For
thank
sure.
you for putting me on. And yeah.
Oh, good times, good times. But yeah, those are the people that have, I think, been in my view or in my ears, I guess you would
Okay.
say.
Okay, good. So for me this week, definitely been listening to a lot of, for some reason, old Adele. Like I really been listening to 19 and 21. I don't know, it's nostalgic for me. Maybe
Yeah.
take me back through like the college years.
Yeah, she's fire, and I think she's working on a project right now. So I'm very excited to hear what that sounds like, and because she obviously has been through a lot
Yeah.
since she put out her last project. So um, you know, as they often say, it's just like pain brings the best music. So I'm very excited to hear like how she interprets it, I guess, if
Yeah.
you will.
Yeah. How do you kind of coach singers through songwriting, or what's your process for getting them to pull that pain out and, you know, painting that picture through the form of a song?
Um, Probably the most useful tool is like talking, really, like just talking through a situation, asking the songwriter, like a lot. Sometimes like you're able to work with somebody that you know like in depthly, but more often than not, it's like somebody that you might not know all those things. So it's just like taking the time to talk to them and dig into things, make them comfortable so that they are willing to open up and share things maybe that they might not even said out loud before and things like that, so that we can find those things to put in into the music, because oftentimes like the things that are unsaid are the things that everybody has felt before. So definitely like conversation and dive. I love like, I'm super like inquisitive, so that's like perfect for me, because like if you start a story, I'm about to get all the way back. We probably end up back in childhood, like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, well that's probably why that's this and that and that. So
A little
definitely talking.
therapeutic session.
Yeah, low key, like I was gonna say, that's the word I was gonna use. It's like kind of like therapy, where it's just like you're um able to get all of those thoughts out, because a lot of times, like, you know what I'm saying, like sometimes things get bottled up inside of us.
Okay.
And for artists, like that's the place where you can heal from it, or you
Mm-hmm.
can, like, even if it's not like healing, like even if it's just some like lighter, like, oh, I was saying, like even if it was something lighter, like just an experience, like you had a good time on a trip in the sun, or whatever the case may be, like celebrating those moments or growing from those moments or healing from different moments and stuff like that. So definitely conversation. That's like the number one thing, because then like the more that you know about an artist, like I feel like you know what I'm saying? It's the better you do, basically. The more you know about an artist, the better you do.
Okay. I like that. I mean, I try to, and I will make sure we stay on topic, but even for me, when I'm working with clients for social media, I have to remind them, like, you're upset that nobody is buying the tickets, to your book launch or to your concert or to whatever. And it's like, because people don't know you. You're not tangible. You don't tell your story. You don't allow people to get to the most vulnerable parts of you.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
that's what sells.
Yeah, exactly. Like even down to like when you think about like somebody like major like Beyonce or Rihanna, like even though we're very far removed from them, like a lot of times we feel like we know them better than anybody else, when that's probably not true. But it's like it's being able to invite all of your listeners and your supporters in, and making them feel like your best friend or your sister or your, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is. So for sure.
Yeah. So they've given us just enough to allow us to come in and feel like, we're besties, and then that baits them into buying the concert tickets and buying the album and the merchandise and whatever else. Beyonce could sell her clipped toenails and somebody is gonna buy it.
Yeah, somebody's gonna buy them. Somebody's gonna buy them. Yeah. I think another person that's really good at that is Cardi B. Like, the world really fell in love with her because she just like, now Cardi B was in a different time, so she did it like in a different way, obviously, but she just invited everybody in, like told them what she thought, and you know what I'm saying? So it's just like she was like one of the first of this like newer generation where it's like all access type of things, you know what I'm saying? And she really took off with that. It's like, and because she is a good person, everybody's like, oh, I love her. Like, I didn't love her at the beginning, but like as she started to grow, I'm just like, wow, I'm loving how genuine she is. And just from that, I'm supporting what she's doing. And then I fell in love with the music, and then, you know what I'm saying? So it's just a journey.
She's not gonna fake the funk. Like she's going to give you exactly what's on her mind, or like what she's going through at the moment. You're gonna know.
For sure.
That's another good artist to bring into the question. But I want you to take us through the journey. I know, but we definitely want to get this recorded for, the first Grammy and the future moments. We definitely want to have, we want you to be able to go back and say you had already, recorded about your journey. Talk to me about your decision to make music your career.
It's kind of funny because, well, like you said, everybody doesn't know. I've always pretty much been into music, like songwriting and like piano, from a very young age, like 11, 12 and things like that. And being in church and singing in church and playing in church and growing up through that. And like, it kind of never even, like, there was never a moment that I wanted to do anything else. Like, I didn't necessarily know exactly what it was in music that I was going to do, because I enjoy business a lot as well. So like when I went to school, I have a degree, I have a bachelor's in marketing, entrepreneurship, and I have a master's in entertainment business. And I thought that it would be, well, not thought. I think that one thing that I would say about my journey is like I've been very open the entire time, but mostly because it's just like you just don't know. Like, you don't know. Like, I didn't take a traditional path, or there's not much of a traditional path, but like but of non-traditional things and paths in the music industry, I definitely took a non-traditional one. Like I said, I always knew that I wanted to work in the music business, and so I started to study business and things like that. And then after I finished my studies, I came home and I dove into audio engineering. And I mainly got into that because I was trying to figure out how to like get my songs down, basically. So like, how am I going to record my songs? I obviously don't have any money. You know what I'm saying? I'm young, college student. Even before that, like in high school, I remember, it's funny because like you think about over all of the things.
Yeah.
And I realized recently, I was like, wow, in high school, I was dabbling in like engineering and stuff like that, recording. Again, just trying to get my music down, buying different things. I'm like, I'm buying stuff, don't even know how to use it.
Yeah.
So like YouTube, I remember YouTube, my senior year in high school was starting to get kind of big. So it's like people are putting up videos on how to do things. And I'm like, oh, okay, let me dive into this. So the internet was definitely a big part of it because it's like the type of person that I am is like, I'm gonna figure out how to do, like if I want to do something, I'm gonna figure out how to do it. And it's like internet is a huge part of that. Like, so got out of college, dove into audio engineering. Right away, just because I didn't know what to do, I knew I did not want to be an artist. So I sing myself and I write. So people are always just like, oh, well, why don't you be an artist and things like that. But that was something that I was never really interested in, just because like I like being in the background and, you know what I'm saying, supporting other people.
Yep.
So right away, as soon as I got out of college, there was a young lady that I went to college with, and she sang, and she was from Chicago. And right away, I just hit her up like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Let's work, you know? Like, and I just started on my journey, not knowing like what to do. Like, looking back, I'm just like, wow, it's such a, like you said, like a full circle experience. And obviously it's much further that I want to go. But even back then, like with me not knowing what to do, it's like, I was like, okay, well, let's do a photo shoot. I'm getting photo shoots. I'm getting the clothes, the wardrobe done. Making beats, recording, all of these different things. So I spent some time with her, not very long, but we worked together, did those things. And then not too long after that, I started working with the artist. Her name is Dej Monet. I actually met her at the summer camp that we used to work together. And she was very young at the time, but I saw talent in her, like phenomenal talent, not just like your run of the mill. So I took an interest in her, and basically her and myself like started the beginnings of what I would consider the beginnings of my career.
Yeah.
So
you were like managing her as a high school student. You really were like the everything, all of the roles. You were the marketing,
exactly.
You were the accountant, you were the booker, you were the promoter, you were, I mean, everything. So yeah, it was good to see you in that moment too.
No, yeah, it was definitely an interesting experience. And it's like, I never planned to do all of those things, but I realized quickly that music is really a small portion of the music industry. So it's like, how I started was I started to bring her to the studio. We were writing songs, we were doing things like that. And let me mention Mike Frazier, like he was my mentor. He taught me a ton of things. He's an excellent engineer, producer, songwriter. And he kind of took me under his wing. Like that was a person that I was able to run to be able to learn all of those things. Like in the beginning, like whatever questions that I have, he's always there to answer them and everything like that. So he has his own studio. So I started bringing Dej to his studio, and we're writing, we're producing, we're doing songs. And I'm just like, I want to put something out. So it's like, once you get to that point and she doesn't have a manager, there isn't marketing, there isn't this, there isn't that.
There isn't some record deal or a big budget.
Right. So it's like, you have to be that. basically. If you want the music to be heard, you can put it out, but it's just like, if you want anybody to hear it, which is the whole entire point, then there are a whole bunch of things that are surrounding the music that you have to take care of, basically. So, yeah, fast forward, I worked with Aesha for 4 years.
Okay.
And then I got into a place where I was more so focusing on just production and songwriting and engineering, versus, because it takes a lot to be all of those people. Like, it's very time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
And while, like you said, like, I'm so glad that I went through that experience, because there are so many things that I gained, and in the long run, that's something that I definitely want to be able to revisit and to have, like, in the grand scheme of things. But like I said, focus more in on songwriting, production, and audio engineering. Been working with a new R&B artist. Her name is Biernick. She's based out of LA, but she's originally from Chicago, and had the privilege of working with her very closely over these past couple of years. So
spell that for us.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a very unique name. Her name is Biernick. Is BJRNCK. BJRNCK. Yeah. So she is signed to Hitco, which is LA Reid's record label. So definitely been a very exciting journey with her. Just growing with her, and growing with her. Like, it's been a very, very cool experience. A very cool experience. So, and that leads us all the way up until today. So that's where I am.
I'm so proud of you. And I mean, let's normalize, like, women who are friends telling their friends, like, I am so proud of you, because it takes a long time. I think people look at, like, overnight success and not realize that sometimes it takes 15, 20.
Yeah.
For some people, 30 years, to really get to where they envision themselves to be. And you have to have all of these twists and turns. You get a lot of no's. You may get we can sprinkle a couple of yeses in there.
Right. Exactly.
Before you really get to where you want to be.
100%. It's definitely a crazy journey. It's a crazy industry, especially being, I mean, obviously, it's like, I'm a Black woman, so we all know the plight of that.
Mm-hmm. But you're a woman.
Yeah,
you're in an industry that's like the boys' club. It's like,
exactly, and that's literally what it is. It's literally what it is. Like, even with all of the things that I have accomplished, like, it's something that you just come up against every day. It's like having to have, like, cosigns and things like that, or you walk into the studio, nobody thinks that you're there to work. They think that you're just there hanging out or something like that. And it's like, it is what it is. It's like, I chose to be in this industry, so I'm not. What I will say is, the journey that I've had, like, I've never had any, like, crazy experiences. Like, I know a lot of women that have had crazy experiences in this industry, and I thank God that I haven't had to deal with a lot of things. But it is something that I definitely face. But I've always tried to tackle it by just being the best me I can be. So it's just like, the work speaks for itself. So it's just like, I'm not a very, like, rambunctious person, a very talkative person, but it's like, so people may not know, but it's like, when they say press play, it's like, then they're like, oh, dang, like, why didn't you say something? Or why didn't you, it's like, you just let it speak, so yeah.
Okay, I love the fact that I can imagine you just walking into, like, a studio, or just, walking into a meeting, and people are probably having these preconceived notions because you didn't come in there with a whole bunch of makeup, a whole bunch of lipstick. Your clothes are not super tight. You're not walking in there with 6-inch heels. Not the Aesha I know. Maybe at the party, but not at the, not
Yeah,
the
no, that's not
Monday
my
through
everyday.
Friday. Yeah, not the Monday through Friday. You might come in there with some distressed jeans from one of the,
My vibes. My
listen,
vibes for sure.
yes, you got some ripped jeans, some Doc Martens, and you like, look, let's get this work. And they
For
probably,
sure.
who is it? Who is she? You know, yeah.
No,
I,
yeah,
I
for
love
sure.
I love to hear that. Um, One thing I did want to talk about is 2020. None of us, well,
Mhm.
none of us Americans, besides the government, saw coronavirus or COVID-19 coming. I
Mhm.
feel like it just kind of slapped us in the face, came out of nowhere, and then everybody is like, oh, okay, let me figure out how to get creative to continue my revenue.
Mhm. For
And
sure.
I really saw that being a subscriber to a lot of different email lists. So, like the House of Blues, and in high school, I was heavily into musical theater. So I still have like email subscriptions to a ton of theaters and all kind of organizations and businesses pertaining to arts, music, entertainment. Talk about how that impacted you mentally, to really say, okay, what am I going to do for the rest of this year? How am I going to get creative um, and not let something like this spook me out of, my passion, my first love, which is music? How did that mentally like take you on a roller coaster, or you was just like, okay, I'm cool? We,
It's kind of funny, like 2020 was definitely a whirlwind of a year, but it was a super great year for me. Like
good.
it was super great. I think that I think that like the forcing us outside of routine
Mm-hmm.
um was like it was like a power pack for me, I guess. Like I didn't stop moving all year, like really. And I hope I don't get any backlash from this, but but like I really took I was definitely taking the virus seriously and everything like that, but um I took the year to refocus and to look at my career differently
Okay.
and to go after it differently as well. Like something that I had been talking to some of my close friends at the top of the year was that, like in the past with my career, um, I've always been very goal oriented, but also very like um, wherever my path took me, it took me. Like,
Okay.
and I'm just like, okay, I'm over here now. Okay, boom, work hard at this, boom, boom, boom. Okay, accomplish that.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's going this way. So, boom, boom, boom. Um, but this past year, um, I really like honed in on what I wanted. Like,
Good.
this is what I want. This
Yeah.
is what I want. And how do I get that? Like, if it's like the music industry is so competitive. Like it's so competitive. And being in a city like Chicago where like the music industry at a certain level is just not present. Um being in the city is hard sometimes because sometimes you just don't get the opportunities that other people do. You can walk into a room and be like, oh, this is something that needs to go on BET. So that's going to be a substantial check. Oh, this is something that is going to be on here, or we need something for this. Just walking into a room, you know what I'm saying? And that stuff is not. I'm not going to say it's not here, but not in the same quantities as a city like, especially LA, or like Atlanta or New York and things like that, where
Yeah.
you have the record labels who are actually there in the cities. They have offices. Their artists are there. All of those things.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to like get into that world in the city of Chicago. So me knowing that, and it like kept coming up on my radar. Like every few years, I'm just like, man, should I leave? But then something would come up here where I would be like, okay, well, let me work on this, and let me work on this. Okay, this came, let me work on this. But I'm just like, this is what I want. You know what I'm saying? And to be able to get what I want, I have to do this, 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 and this. So I wasn't, it's like you didn't have to be attached to anything this year. Like you almost didn't have to worry about, like, not saying you didn't have to pay rent, because I pay my rent, but it's like you barely had to pay rent this year. You could be like, oh, I gotta do this first, and then okay, come back to that, and not be worried about putting on the street. So I just really dove into it. I'm just like, I want to go for it. I want to give it literally everything that I have without thinking about, oh, what's this or what's that, or so I think that while a lot of people did struggle this year, and I definitely can acknowledge that and understand why it was that way. 2020 was just like it was also my 30th year of life. And that really like
There's
hit
something
me, like,
about
different.
that 30.
Yeah, like it was like really different to me. Like it's like I felt it in my bones. Like my 20s, it was just like I was trying to figure it out. Like because I did go through my career in Chicago. It was a lot of like not knowing what to do and just trying to figure it out. But it's like, because I have had a few years in my career, it's like, okay, I know what it is now. Like, I'm not saying like, should it be this or should it be that, or should I go here? Should I do that?
Yeah.
It's like, I know what to do. So let's do it. So I definitely took 2020 to do that, because it really, it really, to be honest, it set me up for it.
Good.
Like the fact that you really didn't have to be attached to anything, like you can work remotely and things like that. It really set me up, like catapulted me. So it was a great year.
So if we're talking about you working with artists, you've named 2 women. Who are a couple of women who you would have loved to have worked with or learned from or just be in the room with, who are no longer living? So women who were thriving in their music careers, no matter whether it was like at the songwriter level, the artist level. It doesn't matter.
That's a really good question. That's a really good question. And I'm not sure if I have an answer for that.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I have an answer for that. Not anybody that like specific, like it's tons of women, but not anybody specifically where I'm like, ooh, I'm sad that I missed that. But if I can alter the question just a little bit. I want to work with Missy Elliott so bad. Okay. Like, I think she is like extremely phenomenal, and I really admire all that she does. And like, as I'm getting further in my career and learning more about hers, I feel like I see a lot of myself in her. So that's definitely somebody that is on my bucket list.
She's so creative.
Yeah, I love Missy Elliott.
If we still had, of course, people can still make music videos today, but if we still had the relevancy of being creative, being out of the box, and really pushing the envelope with music videos the way that she did in our childhood, I think a lot of us would still hold value to R&B. You know, we always hear like R&B is there. Well, you and I know, obviously it's not, but I do miss that component of us growing up, seeing like how creative and how out of the box music artists really got with
Mm-hmm.
videos and with putting that visual and painting the picture, putting that to the lyrics that they were rapping about or singing about.
Yeah, for sure. She had that like down pat, like in her songwriting and her production, like all of the timeless music that she's like been a part of.
Yep.
It's just like she's like a genius in my book.
Yep.
So I definitely would say her if I could say one person. I'm kind of weird. Like I don't I'm not a favorites type of person. Like I'm very a go with the flow type of person. It's like
Yep.
in different seasons I say different things, but like Missy Elliott is definitely somebody through the times that like I've grown with and like come to recognize that has been very influential in my creativity.
Yeah, it's good to, and I hate when we say like, oh, so and so is back, but I will say that it is good to see her face again. It's good.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we missed her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Phenomenal.
Shout out to Missy.
Exactly.
I'll make sure that we tag her, So.
I love Missy. Oh my God. All right.
Yeah, she deserves her flowers for sure. Give them to her now,
Yeah.
Before her, we'll all get our day before her day comes and we boohoo crying about how she was so great. Like, let's honor her now for the stuff that she created. Okay, that's a good part. I'll take that. I will take you altering the question.
Yeah, because I'm like, because I could have said somebody. It's tons of people. But Macy, that's my girl.
Yeah. So for me, if there were any women who I wish that I either had like an opportunity to meet or just not hear their music that, now that they're gone, it would have to be definitely Sarah Vaughan. I wish that I wish I had half that woman's like lung capacity or just her skill.
Yeah, she was crazy. Oh, you know what? A good one. Nina Simone's a good one. Because I love Nina Simone as well.
Yes, I was gonna say Nina Simone. Yeah, just her. She was a genius.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
for sure.
The way she could get to these notes, it was just bananas. Like, woman, what are you doing?
Yeah, and she was just so like unapologetic. Like her as a whole being, like she was a musical genius, and it's like she knew it and she stood in it no matter what anybody said. So yeah, I love her. I love her too. So I'm surprised I didn't think of that first, but yeah.
Okay, so not to toot your horn, but I mean, beep. Might as well. Let's talk about your music placement. If you'd like to share where your music has either, been published. Yeah. I want you to
okay.
I want you to drive that. I don't want to.
Because I'm curious. Did you researched it? I'm just asking. I'm not saying because I was curious to what you were gonna say, but I'll go ahead.
I know you.
Okay. So I don't know where to start, gosh. But I do ad placement. So we'll start there. I do ad placement. So I work for a few different companies, like Foot Locker and like commercials, like music for commercials. Not necessarily jingles, but like music production of the music behind it. So a few different prominent brands I've been able to work for. Biernick, I was able to be a part of her first 2 singles as an artist, which was super fire. So I was able to write a song. Wow, I can't even remember the name of the movie right now.
Is that it?
Yes, that's it. Sorry,
I mean, I'm
I was
trying to let
terrible
you lead the way, but I could
because
roll
I'm
like
like
a carpet.
I'm probably a bad person, to be honest. I had the privilege to write like the main, I guess, theme song of the movie.
Yep.
On movie Beats, which was a Netflix movie, which was super fire. That was a very exciting experience. Trying to think, maybe you should. Maybe you should, because I just be working. I be trying to every day. I got in my head like, this who I want to get on this week. This who I want to get on this week. So, but it's a continuous journey though. It's a continuous journey. Like, literally, like I just said, every single week, I'm like, man, who's working right now? Who's on a project right now? Like, okay, what can we come up? What can we come up to serve who this person is, like, and who this, you know what I'm saying, for things that are afar as well as people in my circle and things like that. So, yeah.
Okay, so how do women interested in music business, where do they start? I mean, we know we're in the thick of like the information age. Everything is digital. The internet is at your fingertips. It's like you either got Google or YouTube. Those are, our grandparents had encyclopedias, and we have Google
Right.
and YouTube. Like we have, if you have a smartphone, like there is no excuse. You literally can figure out. You can be who you want to be without really spending a dime, if you think about it. Like you don't have to gain a huge amount of student loan debt. We're in 2021. Like folks are not going to college as much as they were.
That's the part.
So
I'm like,
we got tricked.
We got tricked.
We got tricked. Wow. We got bamboozled. But I would definitely say, I mean, even it's interesting. I was talking to Jacob and I was just telling him, the girls don't have to go to college. I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. And I worked in college access and higher ed for 9 years. So for me to say that, I see where things are going.
No, yeah, for sure. It's definitely interesting to watch and see that, because sometimes you look back and be like, dang, if I didn't go to college, this, but I try to be very true to, like, it's like my journey is my journey. It's like, if I didn't go to college, I might not have been ready to jump into it or tackle it, or who knows where I would have ended up. So, but that is a very interesting thing. And of course it depends on, what type of field you're looking to get into, but I'm definitely a huge believer in college is definitely not necessary. But where do women start? That is a very good question. I can only speak to my journey. Though I like I said, I started my career in like independent business. So like, if it is like your desire to be like at a record label or like a huge management company, or there's so many things you can do in the music industry. Like internships are probably still the best bet. Which are not always easy to get, but it's like if you're
or they're not always paid.
Oh yeah, they're definitely not always paid. That's definitely, trust me, I went through many, many years of like well, in my eyes, I never see. The thing is, like, as a society, and I feel like now, like those things are definitely being challenged, are like societal norms. But if I would have let like me turning 25 or being 26 or whatever age, like discourage me and say like, man, I should just get a job, because it's like I spent many years like not having much money, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I never felt like, but I was always happy, always. Like I never felt like I was deprived of anything. I never felt like I was missing anything.
Yeah.
It's just all about your perception. Like it's about how you look at the world. It's about how you look at your career. It's like literally, and, and every little dime that I did get, I was pouring back into my
Yes,
career.
you
Like
are.
I wasn't doing anything. Like literally, I wasn't doing anything but working. Like, oh, I need to travel here to do this. Oh, um, my artist needs an outfit for this. You know what I'm saying? Whatever I could do to figure it out. Pulling on relationships, like I hear people talk about all the time, like networking. Like networking is definitely super huge. That's one thing I want to say. Especially like as counter to education in this industry, networking is number one. Like number one. You could fake like you know how to do a job and get that job from a relationship before you actually having experience and knowing the job and everything. So networking is definitely a number one thing. But I know I just went to like 3 different places. I don't even remember what we were talking about.
No, so we're look, you're fine. So you are literally in 15 seconds just, giving advice to
Right.
girls and women who know that this is where they want their career to be, but may not know where to start.
Yeah. So yeah, now remember, definitely if it's like a traditional sense where you want to be at like a record label or something like that, like internships are definitely going to be the best bet. And while you're in that internship, like the relationships, like make as many relationships as you can, because interns fly through there all the time, like trying to stand out and being that one that everybody's like, if you're not there, they like, where's that person at? So definitely that. As far as like independently, like you said, it's just like not figure it out. That was horrible. Oh, sorry. Okay, there we go. But like the research, like figuring out those things, like, okay, what is supposed to happen? That's the number one thing. You have to figure out what's supposed to happen. And then you dive into how do I make that happen? So that's what I would say. If you want to be a songwriter or producer, work as much as possible on your own. Like if you're a songwriter and you're a producer, there's no way a week should go by and you haven't made anything, because that's your practice. That's your, you know what I'm saying? The more you, obviously with everything, the more you do something, the better that you get at it. And like I said, it's a lot of competition. Like when you think about the top artists like a Drake or a Beyonce or Rihanna, they're listening to thousands of songs just to come down to 10 tracks on an album or something like that.
Right.
Because they're dealing with their creativity. There are people in the studio with them. And then obviously because they're one of the top people are flooding them with songs because they know that it's going to be lucrative. Exactly. So it's like, so it can be, I would just say like, back to the perception thing, is just about keeping your perception in the right place and keeping it encouraged, because it can definitely be a very discouraging industry. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, it's like there really is no overnight success. It's like it's years and years of work without any reward. Like without any reward. But when you get to the rewards, like if you do it right, then the rewards are gonna keep flowing. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay. Well, thank you. I'm not going to take up your time. I know you got ballads to write and you got albums to produce. So, of course, I am always grateful.
Yes, thank you guys so much for thinking of me.
When this is all said and done, I'm coming to give you a big old hug.
Yes. Yes.
Because I can't go outside. I can't risk bringing germs home to my little itty bitty baby. But thank you.
Yes. So I will talk to you soon. I will see you soon. Send everybody love for me.
Yes. How can we follow you on social media?
All of my platforms are just Aesha. That's Jusseesh. That's me.
Okay, perfect. Alrighty. Thanks again. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Okay, I love you.
Love you too.
I'm
Bye.
very proud of you.
Thank you so much. I'm proud of you. Proud of you too.